How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and today you're thinking about making the move to Denver, Colorado in 2022. Well, I'm here to talk to you young professionals about whether this is a good fit for you starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Jimmy Everett, and listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons to living or moving to Denver, Colorado, this is a channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon popping up on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And as much as I love getting a little creative here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and teamed up with some of the city's most talented realtors. So that number and email popping up on your screen, I'm always the person answering your phone calls, answering your texts, answering your emails, there when and if you need me. Now that we have that fun-filled stuff out of the way, let's get to what we're here for, and that is moving to Denver in 2022. Is it good for young professionals? All right, so we're gonna take this topic in 5 key sections, and this is based on obviously a lot of clients, colleagues, people who have made the move themselves to Colorado, and myself many years ago when I would consider myself a young professional, now old, and we'll talk about what you really need to know as you get ready to make that move. So, point number 1 is, what is your financial situation? And I mean this on several levels. Are you moving here for a job that you already have lined up? Are you coming here to look for a job? Are you transferring with the position already? Are you moving here alone? Are you moving here with a roommate? Are you moving here with family? There's a lot of different factors, obviously, that are going to play a role in your finances. And why do I bring that up first and foremost? Because I think anytime someone moves, and this isn't a Denver specific scenario, this is just something we see over and over and over again. People who have their finances somewhat established. Maybe they have a nest egg, they have some resources, whether it's friends they're moving with, family, what have you, and they have their job lined up, tend to have more success moving somewhere than people who move and then wing it. Is that to say you can't do that? Not at all. I moved back to Denver many years ago without a job in place. I had job interviews, those went away pretty quick. But, I mean, people do that all the time. The question is, do you have a nest egg? What is that financial situation going to look like, especially in those first few months as you start to get a feel for Denver? Do you know what your living situation might be? If, again, you already lined up an apartment, a home, what is that cost per month going to look like? What kind of bills do you have? So working through your financial situation, because at the end of the day, again, I don't care if you're coming to Denver or you're coming to, any other city in the US, anywhere in the world. If you have your financial situation as stable as you can get it at that given time, you're gonna have more success. People who are stressed out about money, who are really in a bad spot as they get to a new place, that's just gonna add to another layer of why that new home doesn't work out. I also think there's something to be said for when we talk about young professionals that you might be early in a career. You might not be in a position where you're making as much money as you can as you evolve into that career, as you advance. Maybe you're an entrepreneur who's building something, what have you. So just kind of having that in mind, do you have the finances in place to survive those early months, those early years as your income hopefully starts to increase? And speaking of those economic and financial opportunities, point number 2 is the fact that Colorado has a booming and Denver has a booming economy. Even as we start talking about recession, certain situations that are coming nationwide, Denver has seen economic growth for the better part of 20 years. And that includes even back in the crash, 08, 09, that crash did not affect Denver nearly as much as it did the rest of the nation. Denver's economy, there was a time where our economy was based on oil and gas. If you wanted a high-paying job, that was going to be the spot. Now we're huge in education, healthcare, finance, and tech is becoming a massive space, or already is a massive space as far as Denver. You've got offices for Google, Amazon, Meta's got an office out here, Home Advisor, TripAdvisor. A lot of tech companies making a move out to Denver, out to Colorado. Colorado's government, for what it's worth, has done a really good job of incentivizing these companies to come here. And that's not just in Denver per se, but they're spread out. I like to point people towards the direction of a website called builtincolorado.com. No, this is not a plug. No, I don't get a penny for it. I don't think they're gonna sponsor me anytime soon. But builtincolorado.com is a website that helped me at certain points in my career. It's all tech companies founded in Denver at various levels. You might find companies on there that have 2 employees. You might have some on there that have hundreds, if not thousands. But a great resource, especially if you're in the tech space. And Denver also has a huge entrepreneurship vibe to it. And that, I can't tell you when it started. I can tell you that I joined into that about 4 or 5 years ago. But you see people starting, whether it's in like labor, plumbers, electricians, painters, a lot of contractors in town, if you have those type of abilities. But you have people, again, getting into financial sectors, healthcare sectors, sales. So whether it's working for an employer or building your own thing, Denver has a lot of growth in that sector, a lot of energy behind it, and a lot of young professionals moving here for those opportunities. So point number 3, Denver has some really cool living opportunities for young professionals. What do I mean by that? Well, when I look at and when I talk to my clients and colleagues, when I feel a little jealous of their living situations, living around Denver is just cool. You've got these great condos, townhomes, different houses to live in. You've got different neighborhoods. You get down into downtown, lower downtown Denver, 5 Points, Rhino. You get down into the Denver Tech Center where a lot of young professionals live because it's close to a lot of tech and financial businesses that they work in. You've got some really cool, right around the ballpark, you've got these great warehouses that have been turned into apartments. You've got a lot of apartment communities in which you've got social activities in the apartments. They're bringing people together, teaching yoga classes and stuff. You got great swimming pools at these apartments, just places that are young, vibrant, energetic, and a great living environment. And I see that, obviously we talked about finances right off the bat. People are going to be in different situations. I remember back in the day, which is a Wednesday, as I always say, I had an illegal basement apartment in New York. I had a garden level window. And when I say garden level, picture a prison cell with a window that I could just see people's feet walk by. You don't see that in Denver unless you're in the cheapest apartment on the face of the earth. You don't see that. Denver has some really great spaces to live where you're close to parks, you're close to restaurants, a lot of walkability, where your energy is up and you're able to be around fellow young professionals just exploring life. I'm just jealous of you all talking about it right now. Don't get it wrong, I still got a little youth in me. And that leads me to point number 4, and that Denver and Colorado also fits different lifestyles. So you have your living opportunities where you want to live, but also lifestyles. Are you a city person? Are you an outdoors person? Do you want to be more in Denver with the museums and the zoo and the botanical gardens and going to restaurants? Or are you more of an outdoors person? Are you moving to Denver because you're all about getting up to the mountains, skiing, hiking, camping, fishing? Maybe you're a mix of the two. Denver has certain areas that are going to be very convenient for getting downtown. There's going to be certain locations that are very good for getting into the outdoors. And by that, I don't even mean just the mountains. Denver and the suburbs surrounding it are filled with parks and small lakes. If you're coming anywhere from water, we're going to call them small lakes or reservoirs. But what type of lifestyle do you cater to, or do you like a blend? When I first moved here, I got to admit, I was not outdoorsy. Even though I was raised in Colorado, if you asked me to go on a hike, I prayed for rain because I didn't want to do it. I thought hiking and golf was a good walk ruined. Now, I love it. So now I enjoy the fact that, especially like where I live, as an example, I'm in Lakewood, Colorado. I'm about 15 minutes from downtown, and I'm about 20 minutes from getting up to the mountains. It gives me that blend. I love it. I know a lot of people who I chat with, they say that's one of their favorite things, is the fact that they can enjoy a fun city where there's lots to do, sporting events, concerts, we're gonna get into that, but also getting up into the hills. Whatever your style is, Denver's gonna fit it. And also Denver is pretty laid back. I don't see a lot of pretentiousness in Denver. Your dress code is pretty casual. It's what vibes with you. I mean, you got a little mix of everything. Yeah, you have your hipsters, you have your hippies, but you have everybody in between. You're also talking to somebody who has never had fashion sense, and if my fiance doesn't dress me, I'm out of luck. But you can wear what you want, be around the people you want. It's just a chill place. And that all bleeds into point number 5, and that is there's so much to do in Denver and in Colorado. I'm actually just so impressed by the city I live in because of it. You know, there was a time where if you lived in Denver, you get up to the mountains, you could fish, and there was hikes and ski lodges and whatnot, but Denver itself really wasn't that great a town. We always joked and called it a cow town. Other than right around Coors Field where the ballpark was, there wasn't a whole lot to do. It wasn't a great restaurant scene, wasn't a great concert scene by any means, but it has grown to that. Now, when we talk about amenities of the city, you have a lot of different sections of town filled with restaurants and bars and cafes, parks again to get out and about. Talk about sporting events. Denver has everything you could ask for. Colorado Avs are right now in hockey or in the Stanley Cup Finals. I got to plug that. But we've got professional football with Denver Broncos. We've got minor league baseball with the Colorado Rockies. Okay, that's a joke. We've got a major league team. At least major league teams come to Colorado to play the Rockies. We've got the Nuggets. You've got all the sports teams. I sound like somebody who doesn't watch sports as I say that. I'm a little embarrassed. That's all right. I do. You've got a very vibrant nightlife. A lot of different areas to go out, be out, enjoying yourself. Again, we talk about those nightclubs, those restaurants, those bars. Make sure, write down Highlands, Rhino, and Landmark in DTC. Great spots to check out. And we can't talk about Denver and Colorado without talking about breweries, which are all over the place. And one of my favorite things about breweries is that a lot of them have outdoor areas, and a lot of them are dog friendly because most of them do not serve food. They have maybe a food truck outside, so because they don't serve food, they're allowed to let dogs inside. And who doesn't love drinking a few beers and seeing dogs? And if you're not a beer drinker, it's cool. They probably have a cider for you, but you get to be around dogs. Like, you're with me on this, right? And obviously, you have the mountains. And I'm telling you right now, even if you think to yourself, you know what, I'm not really a mountain person, I'm not really an outdoor person, it's gonna happen. You're gonna enjoy it. You might be a lot like me where I'm still not much of a skier or a snowboarder, but even getting up into the mountains in the wintertime and being around people who are, you know, just in these mountain towns having a good old time, it's a blast. And the concert scene in Denver has dramatically improved. Now, we've always had Red Rocks, thankfully. It's about 15 minutes from me. And Red Rocks, if you haven't heard of it, I don't even know if we can be friends yet. I kid. But Red Rocks is one of, if not the best amphitheater, outdoor amphitheater you will ever attend a concert at. It is incredible to see a show there. And Red Rocks also does a lot of different fun stuff. They have like a drive-in movie theater, movie on the rocks, yoga on the rocks. It's a great place to just go work out if you're not into music, but you're into exercise. But there's a lot of different theaters downtown, the Fillmore, the Bluebird, these just different spots, the Ogden, that have great shows all the time. Now, these theaters have been around for a long time. I'm not going to pretend like they just popped up, some of them anyway. But the quality of shows that have started to come through Denver is phenomenal, as well as the improvement of the local music scene. And that is something that I think more and more I hear my clients saying that they enjoy about Denver, is how many nights each month they're spending going to different shows and different music events. Definitely something to check out. So listen, if you're moving here as a young professional, if you're thinking about making that leap, obviously again, I can't reiterate it strong enough. Make sure we have those financials in place. Talk to people. Make sure you have your foundation. That is going to give you the security to really get here and enjoy it. Think about the lifestyle you want to live, areas of town. Do you need to be close to work or are you working remote? Think about your lifestyle. Do you think you're going to get into the mountains, or you already know you're outdoorsy? Do you think you're going to be more into city life, or do you think you're going to be somewhere in between? That can all play a factor in where you're going to want to live. And then once you get here, and obviously I know it's not like we're burning money and throwing it away, but enjoy the hell out of this city because there is a lot to it, whether you are indoors, outdoors, enjoying some sun, some winter, some bars, some breweries, some great restaurants, maybe some music, and occasionally a minor league baseball game played between the Rockies and some major league team. What can I say? I'm on a rant because I get excited, and if you're excited by it, that's a perfect time to hit me up. The phone number and email popping up on your screen. I'm always the person answering those calls, answering those emails, answering those texts, there when and if you need me. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Jimmy Everts. This has been Moving to Denver, Colorado 2022. Is it good for young professionals? Hopefully that answer is yes. Until next time, peace.